All right, all you devils out there, how's it going? Happy Bitcoin Friday. Here we are, the 24th of April. So we do a little combo platter today. So we'll look at ETH and Bitcoin here together here. Now, before I do that, I think you guys got to bear with me here. We're in the home stretch of our little contest giveaway here. So we're at 4 days left. So I guess Tuesday will be the drawing here. Again, nice little giveaway here. If you're not in already, very easy, right? Your email address or a Twitter handle. We're not going to spam you. Don't worry about that. Fastest way to get in and the fastest way to get bonus points is join our free Discord over here. Right? So you can come over to free. No credit card, no commitment. It will drop you into the Discord. We'll greet you there. You'll get you'll get access to all of the crypto deep dives. By the way, if you're not aware of this yet, if you're a new viewer here, you'll get full access to the white belt. That's over 4 hours of technical training. So if you're looking for something to do over this weekend and want to brush up on some of your technical chops, that's not a bad way to invest some time. I think you'll find that it's not just a throwaway. There's real value in there. So there you go. So that's available to you. And then I don't want to discourage you from one of the educational, for either education or social here. The difference between the two, the educational has the belt system into it. If you're not interested in that, social, a nice way to get everything. You'll get all the live streams. We're doing live streams now 3 times a week. The live stream, there's a heavy emphasis now on the futures trading that we do via Ninja Trader. So if that interests you, you'll get a real look at that here. And if you're interested in some of the custom indicators that we built, these are really very popular. I'd come over here and have a look at the indicators here and go through some of that. I think you might find some things that would interest you if you're interested in day trading. Okay, all that said, that's done, right? So here we go. All right, let's get that out of here and let's go look at ETH. I thought we'd mix it up here. Let's do ETH first. So this is, excuse me, a kind of a tricky count. It's quite questionable, right? You can interpret this a number of different ways, right? So I'm a crypto bull. So, right, if you're looking for the bear count, wrong video for you. 1, 2. I think you got to go 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're seeking the 3 at that degree. So you'd be here going from this 2, 1. It's a very abrupt 2. Now you're seeking that 3 up here. 3, 4, 5 to get the. And then we'd be looking for the 3 here of the larger degree of the first 1, 2. Now this channel holding it rather nicely. And you can see here, right, this should not be of any surprise. Now note here, I'm pulling from the start of the proposed 1 here, right? Because remember, algo doesn't care about an Elliott count, it's just looking for the dominant pivots. So why am I pulling here? Of course I check both. If I look here, if I go up to this pivot, I come 50 to the tick, and I get algo target to the tick. Reaction. So I'm inclined to think that that's what they use because of the precision, right? And it's not so much this, it's this, right? That's how we know it's an algorithm. It's the reaction at the target. So I do think that's what they use. Not that this would have been radically different, right? To give you a little clearance, but that does seem to be what's going on here. So 1, 2, 1, 2, seeking 3. Looks like this, well, it's a bit of a stretch in that way. So well, that's a 50, so that we could have another extension here. So we went between the 50 and the 618. So we could actually go, this could be 1, 2, because this is it's a little tricky to dig a clean count out of this. So if this is just another algo play and all we're doing is just working here, we're into our buy zone. Note, we tag the center of that channel, right, to the tick. And we're just going to go up and get that. We could have an extension here in the 5th. Unusual. It's a lot of chop, but note the progression here. So it's a series of higher highs, higher lows, right? So are we trending? Well, you look here and you go, huh? Is that it, right? So it doesn't look like we'd be done here, but we bumped into something here, right? So first thought is, well, oh shit, look at the channel, right? It's perfect channel. Well, of course, you know where I'm going next, right? No, right. So what's the pivot that is just screaming at you? Well, you better check that one, just to make sure we didn't run into anything here. Wait, I mean, this one is literally screaming at you. What do we do? Right into the golden zone, right? So you go, why is it stopping there? Why is it stopping there? Well, of course, doesn't mean we can't get through, but we can understand why it stops there and why we're denied that target, right? So the target's here from this little swing. If that's what's actually in play here, well, you can see why it's being denied. Now, nothing says we can't get through. Of course, the anticipation is if we're going to go 1, 2, 3, if, right? Don't know if that's in yet. 4, and we're going to get up to finish this at a 5. Well, we got a break, but then the big one will be up here, right? That's the big one, and you can kind of look here and go, all right, I can see how that could all come together rather nicely here. So we'd have, do you see second target in there? So potentially now we're just doing something along these lines here. Now we'd eventually, right, if we're going to carry on with this bullish trend, we got to break from the high. We got to break the algo here, so we've got no resistance at least until we get to here. Then you'd have to pull back out and go to some prior highs here. But this is what we're dealing with right now in relation to this swing. So from, get you off to the side here. So the big one, let's call it up here. Really, you got to clear it. You got to get above 220. But right now, first hurdle is this, right? As we sit right in the middle of the golden zone there. So you can look here. I got a target of $50. So there you go, bears. All right, all you big bears waiting for the bearish view of it. What do you got there? A bearish golden corner pocket. Might not ultra tight there. Now you get the general idea. If we're gonna stall here, well, then you're probably back here turning this into, what do we got there? Probably some sort of a WXY to accommodate all the ABCs that would be in there. And this is, well, just looking at the angle of it, you already are a little suspect of that, because to hit the median, are we going to do that over the weekend? That would be, well, actually, let's see. We could do that. That's not out. Well, shit, doesn't have to. I mean, there's no requirement that we tag it here. I mean, we could. Doesn't have to be here, but that's May 2nd. So it would have to be a pretty abrupt sell-off here, so you can understand why I'm reluctant to think that we're bearish here. And not to mention, right? Well, this shouldn't be discounted. The fact that we've bumped into that golden zone and we hit our head, we don't want to discount that, right? And just have bullish goggles on purely. Now, do I think it's going higher? Yes, I do. But that's, again, I don't want to make light of that. We're clearly, an algorithm is participating there. They're going to stay short until that breaks or we hit that target, right? But then there'll be this one. Then there'll be, well, shit, I just used the dominant here. But this one for sure, right? I would check that. Secondary pivot. So we got to wait and see what happens here. But so right now, so where's the trade, right, Carson? I know people want to. Well, first, I'd rather see that get a little cleaner on the finish here, because this looks, if this is 1-2, well, so this could have another kick in it, right? So if this is 1-2 and we're going to get a 3 and we're going to get an extension the 5th, now that's, I'm not necessarily expecting that, but given what we've got here, and that there's not a clean 5 in there. There is in the second half of it, if you look at it. The second half of it, I can get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this, there's not much of a 2 there. So you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not ideal. So the candidate is that perhaps this is a 2, and we've got lots more legs to go, but I don't want to make that assumption. Let's just wait and see. So we're in from the buy zone. We're yet to get to target from this swing. So let's, any help from the oscillators? You know, the classic, right? Looks like it's 4 coming down. Like this would be the 4 before we kick again. You're at the 50 and the RSI. Not a lot of help there, but it does feel like it wants to get up one more time, right? You know, that's feel, right? So you wouldn't want to buy it because it feels like it's going to go higher, but it does kind of look, right? So higher highs, higher lows. It looks like it wants to get up there and complete something. You certainly have a potential set of median lines here that could be influencing the market. So we get right on that pivot. So if this is going to hold, well, there's no, it's a corner pocket, right? Nothing to, well, look where that target is. If this holds, right, it's not like the 80%, we lose the odds because we're not a golden corner, right? We still have 80% odds that if this pivot holds, right, always the caveat, if this pivot holds, 80% probability, now we may not get out there until, middle of the summer, but those 80% are in, that 80% is in play. Right, 80% we get there as long as this pivot holds. Now, if we fail to get there, remember trading principle number 4, if we fail to get there, sets up a move equal to or greater than the move that preceded it that failed to get there. So equal to or greater than would be right here. right? Put us back into that buy zone. So this could be certainly, right, a bear could look at that and go, oh, looks more like an ABC to me before we start correcting. But in the context of where we are in this count, right, assuming this is accurately labeled, which we won't know, right? You don't know for a fact until you complete it. It would be a complicated. This would be quite a cluster F of complicated Elliott to be calling this corrective. Now, can you do it? Well, shit. I mean, look right here. Right. So from the top, 50. Right. So just like here, well, look at the confluence here, guys. So you can't ignore this stuff. So look at this. All right. So there, if I'm spot on it, let's get it on it. Okay, so I've got a 50 and a golden zone, so you can certainly understand why this is resistance, right? I've got a double cluster here, so that's two algorithms here looking for that to head down here, right? So look at the cluster we have down here. What are you going to call that? So, corrective? Well, it's certainly not a pristine, picture-perfect impulse off the low, right? I mean, it's a choppy, kind of wobbly. A few times it looks like it's going to roll over, but it's a slow, steady grind higher. Just the kind of thing a bull wants to see, a slow. What you don't, right? It's actually more problematic, and Bitcoin just did this. These big spike wicks, right? They really set up. I'd rather see the slow, steady grind, just grinding the bears down just a little bit more every day until they can't take it anymore and they capitulate. That's what's really happening here. Now, of course, right, all it would take is this. Bears are loving it, right? But the slow grind. So what you really want bears to be doing here is going, I'm going to move that stop up a little higher, right? Because I think, I'm going to move it a little higher, right? So they get pushed and pushed and pushed. They're further underwater until eventually they go, fuck, I can't take it anymore. Right? That stop, right? They're short. They got to buy it to get out of it. Fuel to keep going, right? So just something to keep in mind here, right? I'm not saying I know that that's going higher. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just kind of looking, right? So having done this for a long time, I've been on that wrong side where you think today, well, this is the day it falls. I can feel it's going to fall, right? But you're back to feeling. What do the numbers show us? Well, we can understand that we bumped into significant algorithmic resistance here. So for this bull trend to keep going, we got to break them one at a time, right? And if it takes retracements to do it, that's what it's going to take. But right now, slow grind. Bears are just getting ground down a little bit more every day. Now, we'll see, right? They may get the last laugh, so bears, cool your jets. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying right now, if you're short, if you've been shorting along the way, you got a little clench in your sphincter. You're a little concerned. Okay, so with that said, I don't know that there's anything more to add here than if this comes down, we get back into the buy zone. Well, you know what I'm going to do. This is kind of a sloppy count, right? So I would be prioritizing my buy zones here. So if we come down here in a nice little 3. Simple, right? It's not a complicated trade, right? You can throw the Elliott out the window. Here, I got a nice upsloping channel. I got a series of higher highs, higher lows. If I get another higher low, well, it's a low-risk trade, right? See the difference, right? If you're going to front run the 50, you ladder in at the golden zone. Maybe you use the 707. It's not complicated here. This is not a big risk. Don't lever it up. Just modest amount of leverage here. And why? Because this isn't a pretty impulse. If it is going to play as an impulse, I don't think you need to be in a hurry here to get big size, right? Particularly when you've got all this series of resistance that you got to get through. Right, just swing for singles, right? You don't swing for the fence on every trade. I just had a guy, one of our members, say, "Hey, man, I got to check out. I got to pause for a little bit." I said, "Why? What happened?" "Well, I just went all in on this one trade, and So the question is, well, why would you do that?" "Well, I was Lambo shopping, and I figured if it went, So you're gambling, right? So that's okay. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying if you're going to do that, well, understand that you're not trading anymore, right? You're gambling, A trader is very deliberate about risk management, very deliberate about the next trade. You're not overly attached to any one trade because see, the reason people get in so much trouble and they get so uptight in the market and that stress factor and you can't sleep and you're checking the market every 5 minutes is because there's too much risk. When you're comfortably allocating risk so that you're not doing that, and you know when you've done too much. You know when you've done too much. You can feel it, right? You're checking it, each down, 5 minutes. I'm checking my phone, then I'm checking my, where are we? Where's my tablet? That you've got too much size on. It's not hard to know. If you're just comfortable with it and you're disciplined on the risk management, just another trade. Right, not overly attached to it. It's just another trade. Right, that's what you want to aspire to. Nobody likes to get stopped out. I get stopped out all the time, Right, but I don't overtrade it, so it's just another trade. Fuck, okay, stopped out on that one. Thank you. My stop did its job. Next trade, what's setting up next, right? Because sooner or later, you're gonna, if you're deliberate about it and you're deliberate about the money management, one of these is gonna run, and then you go, oh fuck, man, I'm glad I had enough. I'm glad I was there to participate. You see, what happens, and this is just a perversion in the market. It's just a weird, it's universal law. Call it what you want, but what'll happen is if you went forward on this one. Right, and this one gets you stopped out, the next one will be the monster. And you'll be looking at that going, God damn it, I knew that thing was going to go. If I had just not done that monster trade and over-levered it, it's an unbelievably consistent thing. The market punishes mistakes. So if you blow up your account here, I can't explain why. I've just been doing this for so long. The next one will be the monster trade, and you can't participate because you blew up your account. It's an amazingly consistent phenomenon, so don't put yourself in that position. Right? Next retrace, if you do it in a clean 3, simple. Right? Just don't overdo it. All right, what are we doing? Let's go. I got Bitcoin here, I think, actually. So Bitcoin, never a dull moment. All right, so same thing here. Bears. All right, wrong video for you. Okay, so let's look at it here. So I know that's a mess. I totally understand. Okay, so let's. Oh shit! Here, let me try and declutter here. So this is off of this low. So let me just hide this. Hang on a second. Let's get some of this off of here. Now I'm going to clear this up. I know that's very hard for you guys to see it, but I mean that's what my chart is. All right, you're looking at my chart. All right, so. Now, when you draw it yourself, it's easier because you knew what you drew. So off of the low, I've got us going 1, 2, into yet another 1, 2, into yet another 1, 2, into yet another 1, 2. So can't get much more bullish than that, but I'm just following the golden zones, right? So is this a clean count? Well, it's not the prettiest you've ever seen because you're not getting the retracements quite where you're anticipating them. So it does look like you got to go 1, 2. Now you got a very clear impulse here. This impulse is hard to deny, right? So right here, this is an impulse. 1, 2. Look at the separation here. 3, 4, and I got 5 here again. So you got so you get a diagonal in the 1, 2, clear impulse 3, a little wonky here. I don't love the truncation, but you can see the 5 in that C, and then a clean impulse here. So you can't ignore this impulse, but it's likely not the 3 relative to this 1, 2. Right, so what does that leave? Right, just process of elimination. Right? It's either A, B, C, and this thing was going to go down, or it's another 1, 2. Well, again, not likely to be the 3. What do? Golden zone, right? Which, we went through these last week. No big surprise. Okay, so we go golden zone. Ah, shit. Here, hang on. What did I just do? I want you off of there. There we go. Okay, 1 golden zone. Right, we went through this last week, right? This was a golden zone, doesn't make target. What do we run into? Golden zone. So what do? Next up, swing high, golden zone again. Now, on a couple of exchanges, that did break by a couple of ticks, right? So just relax. I see it, right? I know that broke by a couple of ticks. You do see that now more and more, right? I've been teaching this for long enough now that I do start to see just 1 or 2 ticks. Oh, right. So the way to deal with that is So one, a little bit less size, so you can give it a little more room. So that often what I'll use is the 707, right? Square root of 50, just put it under the 65, so that's a clean place. If you're entering off of the golden zone, rather than just be 1 or 2 ticks under the golden zone, you get 707, not a bad thought. All right, so having said that now, and again, I know it's hard to see, give me a second here. So we've got this swing, so here's a textbook golden corner pocket right in the golden zone. So we are yet to get to that 80% is unrealized, right? The 80% that we get there out of a golden corner is not realized. Well, on our way, what do we bump into? A second golden corner pocket. So we got a golden corner inside. It's like Russian dolls. I got a golden corner, and then the next thing up is another golden corner. Well, that 80% has been realized, right? Here's my corner. Here's my 80% on this big pump wick. Got 2 through. Right, so this one I'm going to take off because that's, well, here, we'll just hide it, right? So I can come back to it if I need it. All right, so with that hidden, shit, did I hit it? I thought I hit it. Let's try again. Hide. There we go. Wrong one, I guess I hit. All right, so 1, 2, 1, 2. Now this, it looks like yesterday's little push was an extension in the 5, because I can get a, let's go in there. It's a little tricky to see it. Okay, so ABC, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So of this degree, it looks like you can work this as a 1, 2, 3 extension in the 5. Well, you look and you go, is that right? Well, you see a check. So how is it playing with regards to the typical fib relationships that you'd anticipate? Well, the first thing you're going to check is from the 2 to the 3 high. Now, let me get my measure move template out. What do we do? 38 to the tick. Oops. Oh, I don't want that. All right, 38 to the tick. So we're looking here. So this little baby 1, 2 that you're thinking, is that right? I don't know. 1, 2, 38 to the tick. So now I lean into that all the more. So where's that headed? Well, I got one algo target here. So I've got this one here, and I've got this one here. Either one of those viable targets, right, for this 5 to complete. Well, let's get this out of here. So you get what I'm after here. So we go up here and get one of these. Well, remember, that's this one here. You can always look to the left edge to see which is which. So if we get there, that's just the first algo target. But we're playing this as I'm seeing a 1, 2, meaning that's unlikely if we get that algo target here. Well, shit, that's, that could have been a front run for all we know. But that's not likely to be the 3 relative to this 1, 2. That's going to be way up here, right? We're looking for, remember, here, you can always go to the left. So where's that 3? Up here. So if we're going to do this has got more to go. All right, so that would be putting us up here at almost 9,100. If this is going to go 1, 2, all right, so if I draw it, I know there's a lot of shit on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're off and rolling. That's the call it bullish hopium. All right, feel free to, right? Well, if we go up here and finish that, well, then you feel better about, this one. So this is an impulse going in here to finish. Right? If I get that done, well, then I've completed the impulse of that 3. But I'm still not done. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wouldn't that be just textbook right over? So if we went and get that, let's just measure it. So if we go up and get that as a 1, and there's my 2 at that degree. So let's lay it out. Right? So maybe we get a little push. Nothing says we have to stop at the algo target, but I would anticipate a little reaction there. So if it's 1, 2, right, that's that secondary golden, but we've already popped that. We've already hit that 80%. So something like that, 3, 4, could we get that high? Well, it remains to be seen. Let's put you, let's go up a degree. No, let's got to go up 2 degrees. Minuet. Okay, so 1, 2, we're seeking that 3. So we're just in the subdivision of trying to get through to that 3 here. Right, on that median line. So does it play? Well, the next thing that would be a tell, right, and this is, shit, I mean, this is tradable, right? No reason not to, right? So you got that play right there. What are we looking for next? 3 down. All right, so if we do this, then you can lean in a little more heavily here, because if that's going to be 4, well, we know we have a clear violation here because this needs to be an impulse. So if we break this, which would be under the 50, well, pardon me, I have to redraw that. But if we break that, well, then we know that, right, the count is invalidated. So I'd have to pull this off. If we go up here and we get it here, well, so here, so then you could look at it this way. If we're going to come, well, so you'd have to deal with a lot of this. So, right, you always want to wick some of this stuff off. So we wick that off. So where would that be? Right at the 50. Again, assuming I go in here, up here and get that. I don't have this yet, but I'm just trying to lay out a roadmap. So if this is going to finish up here, right, this kind of action here sets that trade up. And that's the one you want to go for right now. If it goes to something like, if it goes down that deep, well, you know, it's not that we don't see it, but we'd be on a secondary pivot here. So immediately I'd want to pull that back one, because now you're taking the Elliott out of it to some degree, because you're just trying to figure out, well, what's the algo likely to do? They're going to use a dominant. They may even use this one, right? So if you put it here, again, I don't have this pivot. I'm just looking at potential scenarios here. Well, I know for sure this is likely to be structural support. Right? All of these, there's all this wicking action here, but this will be in play. High volume here, but here's the monster, right? From all of this price action here. So we're not there yet. So this, would I trade that? Well, I might look for a little guidance here. So if it's going to be a 4, now the Elliott oscillator back to the 0 line, it's tradable. Again, I wouldn't go heavy here, but that's what you got there. Oh, 7,400 to 80, call it 81, 8,200. There's nothing wrong with that. Moderate amount of risk there. I don't know that you'd need to, right? So you want this to kind of be done here. There's a little ABC in that. I might give it below this pivot. You could trade that. Give it from here to here. So you'd have, let's see if we did it here. Let's get our target as the median line. Underneath that pivot, well, there's 3.2 to 1. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if you don't get it right there, if we're going to go a little bit deeper on the retrace and we're going to come back to something like this, I'd use that same structure. So if it comes down a little bit further, right, you don't want it to overlap this one. I mean, well, it could, right? So depending on whether or not we're going to have an impulse or diagonal here, but if it's 1, 2, if it's going to play, we want this to be an impulse. So 1, 2, all right, we're looking for the big impulse. So we're into the 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, we've got a potential candidate here for the internal, but this one is not done yet. So we need this. You know, it wouldn't be a terrible idea to wait. You need that to complete. So I know I've got my impulse here from this 1, 2. You know, then you'd be a little more confident buying that into the 4, 5. So trader's judgment here as to whether or not you're comfortable saying, okay, 4's in. It certainly could be. Certainly could be. It's just individual. You got to make your own decision there as to whether or not you want to gun for that over the weekend. It's not terrible, right? I wouldn't give that a lot of room, because if I'm going to be wrong, I'd rather just be out quickly. So if it's going to go a little deeper, you know, even so here, Vegas wave is here. You've got structure down here. If I'm going to be wrong, I want to be out quickly, because I want to look to potentially reload again and go back in at it. If this is going to come a little deeper, right, you can kind of see how that might play. Right, here's the one. If indeed that's done, wouldn't give that a whole lot of room. But if you want to be a little bit more conservative, I'd wait for that to finish and then look for the next 3 to try and get on that. All right, let's see. How am I doing? Oh shit, half an hour. I kind of hyperanalyze this here, because this is, you know, it's an unusual counter. It's so many 1, 2s that it makes you keep, so shit, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, this looks like it's complete. 4 1, 2s in a row. It just makes you a little uneasy. That's so many without something really clean completing. But what's lacking, what we're not getting, with the possible exception of this one, is that we're not getting the impulsive 3. We're just getting false breaks. So thus we get forced into the 1, 2. Right? So you wanted this one to break, didn't go. You wanted this one to break, doesn't go. You want this one to break. Now maybe we can get this 3, but you know, so even at this level, all right, so even if we're just trying to, let's get some of this out of here. If this is 1, 2, you'd like to see one of these get their 1, 6, 1, 8. Oh, fuck, come here. One of them. Right here, so you see why I've got that there? So this would just be textbook. If we can get this one to kick here. Okay, now, right by the book. There's my nice clean impulse here. Now give me 3, right to the parallel here of a golden corner, and then I like that even better. But then if you do that, okay, if we get the 3 there, well, now all you're setting up is the next 4. So if this is gonna go, and so we're just gonna continue to grind here, it's a lot of 4s to 5s that are going to be very tradable, right? Remember how many we still have yet to complete. So lots of potential if this keeps grinding higher. It feels like it's, halving is coming, right? It's on the way. So a slow grind. Wouldn't be surprised if one of these days, one of these, often they'll do it overnight, you're going to have a big, this wasn't enough, right? That was nice to see yesterday because it drove us off of this golden zone here, so we got some separation from it. But it's not quite enough to go, okay, game on. You want to see just one of these, get that 1618. All right, guys, there you go. That's probably more than you needed, but that's plenty to chew on. And just a reminder, don't miss that opportunity to get into the Discord and get that white belt. Right, we're all sitting at home. Might give you something to work on over the weekend. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, and we'll catch you guys next week.